Hey Mike, I seen your question over on the Ruby on Rails discussion board about the motorcycle rides and so on. Let's build this out really quickly, just to be able to. I've started writing up an answer here for you, but I think I'm just going to build it out like quickly. We have like users, which are riders. We'll have things like their name and phone number and other stuff, whatever about like you would whatever person. And then rides, it'll be like it has a start and an end and a time and whatever, miles ridden, all that. But then I think that we need an associative table in the middle as well because like one ride could have many riders. I'm expecting like there's people with multiple bikes around. And then over time, like one rider could go on many rides altogether so you can see who went what times and whatever. So I think that this is like a many to many or an end to M kind of a thing. So it gets associated this way. So what I've done over here is I've just done a Rails new. It's just called motorcycle rides. Fresh new Rails app right there. And let's get on in there. And we'll open up VS Code in that folder. That's a cool gem that helps us to be able to do stuff quickly, like build out new stuff quickly. I'll show this to you. So over in this gem file, this new project, I'm just going to put in somewhere in here, just going to put in gem brick, that thing right there. And as well, maybe want to focus this on just a specific database. So it's currently called what? Oh, I guess this is fine, yeah. Development SQLite 3. That'll be fine. Yeah, I've got some SQLite 3. That'll be fine. All right, after adding in that new gem and the gem file, we'll bundle to be able to get all that together. And then let's build out those three tables. That's the rider and the rides. And then that middle associative table as well. This rider ride, we'll call that thing. So do bin rails g migration. We'll call it create rider. We'll have a name and a phone number for those folks. And then how about we have create a ride? We'd have, or even how about we'll have, since we'll have like where they started, where they ended or whatever, it could be like a ride out to a different place, not end in the same place, whatever. So we'll have, how about create location? We'll have that to be like places they can go to and from or whatever else. Then we'll create a ride. They'll have the origin that will reference out there to location eventually. And then destination also that will have references over the same to location. We'll have as well the start, which will be a date time, and end also there'll be a date time. Number of miles will be an integer. So a couple of foreign keys in that guy. So following along so far, hopefully now we just need that middle associative table to tie together rider with ride. So now we'll have, let's see, there'll be two foreign keys on that. Rider, ride will be a rider that will reference and a ride that will reference in the middle of that guy. So now we've got 4 different migration files that are built out over here in the DB folder. At first is building out riders with the name and phone number. And then second, it builds out that location, just has a name only. Now, the rides, indicates that it's got those foreign keys out to origin and destination. We want this to be, it's going to go out and reference that location table ultimately. Let's say that we don't do the foreign key part on that one quite yet. I'm just going to fix that a little bit later to go across to a different table. So we'll simplify that down a little bit. And then this one will leave these foreign keys. So as we have our riders going on rides, a specific rider is going on a specific ride, so that's going to be a foreign key that references that guy. So those 4 migrations. Let's cause those to run. We've got our 4 tables there. And now, with nothing else, well, let's see, actually one thing else that we need to make. Let's make a model file for the ride so that we can tell it how it references, how it goes over and has those foreign keys that are put into place. So it's for this guy, we want to have this origin and destination, which these will turn into origin ID, destination ID, are the foreign key names of those. If you say that it references origin, what it really builds out is something called origin ID. Like if we look here in the schema, we can see that as we run the migration, this schema RB is going to talk about like what did it build. So we have on a ride, see it's called here origin ID, destination ID is the name of those references columns that are put into place there. Those will be pointing over to the location table. The location will have a name. How do we build that out? Let's see. Go into our models. Nothing there yet. Just application, whatever. Application record. We're going to want a new one. We're going to call this one ride. This class is called ride. Inherits from application record. And what we want inside of here is that it belongs to, we had the idea of origin, and it needs to know what class it's going to, because there's no class that's called like origin out there, so it'll get confused, you see. So the class name for this guy is going to be a string that is location. And the foreign key, we don't have to specify it. If we wanted to, we could say foreign key is origin ID, but it's already would have figured that out on its own because the name of the belongs to it's called origin. So it just by default it takes that name and it does underscore ID. So it adds in, it would know this kind of a thing anyway. If you wanted to override it, if it was something else other than that, then you could specify it. But here it's just going to automatically know that. We'll put in some more stuff in there in a little minute here called inverse of, but let's not worry about it quite yet. We also have it belongs to destination. It's a highly similar thing. So in here, destination, the class name is location for that as well. So we're kind of overriding the normal behavior in there. Cause that to come to bear. All right, well, similarly, then we can have that the location has many origin rides and destination rides. Like we would have, because we have these two different belongs to pointing to the same thing. It's each ride starts somewhere and ends somewhere, but it could be two different places, you see. But like from the perspective of the location, well, it now knows, well, I have these rides as what were starting points, and these rides that might have been ending points. So let's build another model for that. We'll do location RB. And then similarly to where we had built that other, so location inherits from application record. And we've got this way, that's going the other way around. Instead of the belongs to is on this side, the opposite of that is a has many. So we'll have where it's like the origin of a ride. So let's call it ride origins. And the class name for that, because it can't infer that from something called ride origins. There's nothing called ride origin. There's no class that would be, or no model that would be like that. So class name on this is ride foreign key. It also cannot infer that either from this because, wow, there's no column name similarly to that. So this one is going to be, well, it's the origin ID, the name of our foreign key across the way. This also has many ride destination. So we'll say that it's ride destinations. Again, goes over to that model that we've built out called ride foreign key destination ID. Cool. Weirdly, the brick can build out all the other models that would not have been spelled out by us automatically, like it just knows. So I think that's all that we need initially here just to get started with. Let's like run a Rails S. Brick's kind of interesting gem because it looks at all the tables that are out there in your database right now, and then it automatically like wires stuff up for you. This being Rails 8 or later, then it doesn't show you a lot of stuff as it starts. Like normally Brick would show you some other stuff. Like if it was an earlier version of Rails, it would show you, here's the table I found, and these are the paths that I will be able to navigate to, allow you to navigate to, or whatever else. But we don't see that quite yet. Let's do here is go over to localhost 3000 and then just brick status. And this automatically found like these things. Let's see what happened there. As I asked for brick status, it showed me some stuff there. Brick jumped to life automatically. And then it found, okay, I have these 4 models that I can build out. It had seen these that were like built in, and so it uses the model files we made for both location and ride. And we can see the content of those tables from going to these paths, in fact. So now we see the stuff that needed to still be built out. As it took the look through, there's models that we didn't say, we didn't build them yet. There's a rider, and it has many of these, that associative table in the middle. And then through that associative table, it saw that, okay, it has many rides through rider rides. So Brick can automatically wire stuff up. If it like sees the foreign keys in place appropriately, it knows how to like wire that stuff up. Going back over here, these are the 2 model files that we built out. And it says, yeah, I'm specifying where that thing is. And this line number 1 is where it starts talking about like location. And over here, line number 1 in this file is where it starts talking about ride. So those are those 2 resources for these couple of different tables in the database that we've built out. Describes also the location over in the migrations. Here's where it's built out, like of each of the migration files. So that's kind of a overall what we've built out so far. On this drop down, it kind of goes off the screen, sorry, but it's you can choose to go to any of the 4 different tables, or we can just click here. In fact, like let's see locations. Let's build out some locations first. We can see a little bit of how it's hooked up. Like location relates over to ride 2 times because it's got an origin and a destination. And there it is. Location has like a one-to-many kind of a situation. One location can have many different origin rides and destinations of rides. Let's start building out some locations. So let's say this is Phoenix. Nice. I'm going to ride over to, how about Sedona? It's a good ride. Up I-17 maybe. Maybe ride over to Albuquerque. It's a very long ride. Maybe ride over to Los Alamos, over in New Mexico, northern part. And then finally ride over, how about Los Angeles? So a few different places we can go, just locations and stuff. And now we can go set up like, how about a new ride? So if we go, let's say, this allows us just to be able to choose those existing locations. Like with drop downs, we can start to put in this related stuff. BrickGem does all this stuff, like behind the scenes, it just figures it out. Let's say we're going over from Sedona over to Albuquerque. And some sort of we're going to go on Saturday. And it'll be a long ride, maybe crash out in the middle, So end up finally getting there on Sunday. I don't know how many miles that's going to be. 500 miles or something? I don't know. Something good. It's a long ride. So now we have all that stuff figured out. A given ride in the mix there. Let's get some people involved. How about? So go over to the riders. And there's James likes to come along. And then his girl Sally. And Maurice. There's a couple of riders here. Now we can associate some rides. So if we go into this associative table, the rides would be this middle associative table. So virtually, the rider has many rides, and the ride could have many riders. This is kind of a many-to-many kind of idea. It's rider ride that holds it all together here. This is called an associative table. So let's click into this guy and then add like some riders to some rides kind of thing. We'll say that James had come along on this ride that we've already specified, like starts at that time or whatever. We don't have a name for the ride. It's just found the first column in the mix. It's like, I don't know, February 15th ride, whatever. Saturday ride. So James going to go on that one. And also we'll have his girl come along as well, Sally. She'll come along on the same ride. Then we can go make another ride. It'll be on another time or whatever. In fact, it'd be fun, though, to make it so it's named something. It's like, how about Sedona to Albuquerque? So it just shows up as that. And so Brick allows you to do something like that. It's kind of fun. This is called what? The origin name and then the destination name. If you think about it, it's just got to, from here, if we can figure out what the origin name and the destination name is, you'd have that as being like Sedona to Albuquerque. You might be able to say it. So let's go fix this up in code here. What we want to do is build out an initializer that would tell us how Brick would be able to do its stuff. We don't yet have a Brick initializer. There's other initializers only. So let's quit this Rails S just for a moment and do a bin Rails G Brick install. What this is just like a Brick thing that builds out its own initializer file really quickly. And so now we have that thing show up. This is a new thing that showed up right here. And there's all sorts of different, you can do this and do that, whatever else. And what I want to do is have this cool, what do I talk about? The DSL stuff in here. Extra foreign keys. Yeah, friendly DSL. There's a section kind of towards the bottom here. We can specify how you want to describe various different models. Like model descript for a rider ride could be dot origin dot name to destination dot name, something like that. And that it just knows that from this given model we have something called origin, and from the association from that it can go and find the name that's on the location, like origin is the location from a rider ride. And destination also, I messed it up, I'm sorry. It's not a rider ride, it's just a ride. For a given ride has an origin and a destination. Yeah, now I got it proper. All right, we can even do one that would be for like rider ride, and it would be like, all right, from rider ride, then the person would be like who the rider is, their name, going from, and then that would be rider ride.origin.name to rider ride.destination.name, something like that. Hopefully that makes some sense. This is like this funky DSL. And this would have to be, it's all in one like hash here, so comma separate those guys. Put those two entries together. So here's how this ride model can have like a friendly DSL name on it. This is how this rider ride can have friendly DSL. These square brackets are saying like, all right, this is like a calculated piece or whatever else. So let's save that and see if it's going to work here. Go back in and do a bin Rails S. This is like doing Rails server. Start up and see if that'll fly. And we refresh this guy. Yeah, it loaded. Okay. Now we go back, take a look at some of our rider rides. And okay, yeah, it says then it's Sedona to Albuquerque. That's the name. That's a lot better indication. Maybe we can put in the date as well. But anyway, you get the idea. You can put in different stuff in this kind of DSL instead of having it originally just said, I don't know what to call it, so I'm just going to steal like the first column that makes any sense to me, which happened to be like the starting date or whatever. Now, if you see for that given ride, see it started, it had caught that previously to be able to do that. All right, let's build out then another ride. So we'll add in another one. This will be from Los Alamos over to Albuquerque. It's a much shorter ride, only probably 100 miles or something. We could do that the next weekend from the 22nd and the 23rd. Create that ride. And we'll say that some other folks are going along on this one. This one we've got, need to go over back to the rider ride, that associative table in the middle. So let's see. Oh, did we not associate that guy? Yeah, we didn't. We didn't say that the ride has many. There's something I can do. That's something to fix up. Over here in our ride, it belongs to those things, but you know, it also has many rider rides. It also has many riders through rider rides. That'd be good. So let's add those couple things in. We didn't add those, and so like over here, it didn't even show us that it could hook up in those ways. So let's figure that out. Starting it up again. I've stopped and started the server. I refresh this page. Now it makes more sense. So from a ride, it has an origin location, a destination location, and then it also has many through over here to the right. There's a ride has many riders, and the ride then is directly associated with that associative table rider ride. And here we can see it as well. Like this original ride, we put 2 riders on it so far. We can go in and click and be able to see those guys, which are our 2 folks, our riders. Those are the 2 for the Sedona to Albuquerque ride. There they are. We can add in some other rider rides over on this one. We don't have any of them yet over there. So we can go then to this associative table, add in some more folks that are riding along. We'll say that it's girls' time out. How about now? So Sally is going for that Los Alamos to Albuquerque ride. And then as well, it's that same ride, we've got Maurice. Oh, Maurice is a dude. Hold on, that's not a girl thing. Anyway, I was thinking wrong anyway. So yeah, Maurice is going along. So it's Maurice and Sally both going on that one. And so now we can see for each person, by the way, all the rides that they're going on. So like we go over here to Sally and it's like, all right, the rides I've got is these 2. We go over like James. He's got that one ride, Sedona, Albuquerque. Maurice, he's got like just that one ride, Los Alamos, Albuquerque. So hopefully this is at least a start, like to see some of the stuff. And then if you scroll back up here, what the brick gem does, it's just like making out various different controllers and stuff for you on the fly. To be able to build out these different actions. This is just Railsy kind of stuff that you can do. You can copy and paste this as a start of like your own controller file. It's done this behind the scenes in the background, just on the fly, just like it saw your database and said, all right, I'm going to make this for you so that we can cruise through and do this stuff. This is pretty standard stuff to have like a params thing for a given controller and to be able to have a find thing for it. And these different actions, like this index is what we've used when we've seen the grid. Or like when we see an individual, then it's like this show action. Find a specific rider ride in the mix. Or like we've been doing to be able to create them with the plus button, then that big green plus button, then it did this, and then it said create it with these params. Or we can also update it and so on. So various controllers have been built out based on, like first time they're used, then they're built out in RAM, and they just hang out there. First time the class is used as well, if it's not present, then it'll say, I'll build it up for you. So we haven't specified yet this rider class, but if you want, you could copy and paste that into a file called rider.rb, and then in the models folder, then that would be your model for you, or rider ride as well. You can just put that all together. Hopefully that's fun. Hopefully that gets you started. I'll put this out on GitHub and put out the link there as well. But have fun with Rails. Mike, I hope it's a fun time with the motorcycle riding and all that good stuff. Let's party on Rails together, man. Good stuff.